Hello, and welcome to the Thrive Mindset Podcast. I am so glad you are here with me. My name is Carrie Dahle, and I am your host. I am an entrepreneur, author, podcaster, manifester, and motivator. And I am on a mission to empower you to create the life of your dreams. If you are looking to up-level your life, relationships, finances, productivity, and success, you have come to the right place. I will share with you tools, resources, strategies, my failures, and my successes that have all helped me achieve the life of my dreams. It is my goal with this podcast to help you see your potential and empower you to create the life of your dreams. So let's get to it. Well, welcome back to the Thrive Mindset Podcast. I'm Carrie Dahle, your host, and I am incredibly excited about today because it is the start of a new little series that's going to happen through January and the beginning of February. And that is some interviews with some amazing authors that have been put together by a past podcaster with me, Colleen Avis, which if you go back just a couple months, you'll hear about that. But she's the lead author for Sacred Spaces, and she's done volume 1 and 2, and volume 3 is coming out in February. So I want to welcome our very first guest, Mimi Daraa. Mimi is the co-founder and CEO of Maison Palo Santo, a mission-driven brand that connects people to their creative potential through the power of Palo Santo and intentional rituals. She's a certified breathwork instructor, a yoga teacher trainer, and a Palo Santo expert with over a decade of experience. Mimi creates transformative experiences through her products, scents, sound, signature workshops, and mindful retreats. Her passion lies in empowering others to find joy and resilience in life's challenges, and always with a touch of elegance and heart-centered connection. Welcome, Mimi.
Thank you.
I love that. And here you are.
Light.
I have to back up for a second. I had some out earlier too, because I was thinking
Very
about
good.
it. And I thought, oh, how else can I start this podcast off right? So,
Right? It's never been a better time for a cleanse, that's for sure.
all right. Well, we will talk a little bit about sacred spaces in a bit, but I first want to hear about you and just learn a little bit about where this passion came from for you.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. As you mentioned, I'm the co-founder of Maison Palo Santo, and we're a mission-based brand. When we first started our company back in New York, we were focused 100% on the sustainability of Palo Santo, which is a sacred wood that comes from Ecuador, where my family lives. So it's been a really interesting ride since then. But when we first started, we actually started making Palo Santo products to support our existing business, which was a Moroccan rug company, which you can see behind me. I would design Moroccan carpets. And with my husband, who is from Morocco, we would have them hand woven by a cooperative. So we were starting this really cool design type business, but in Manhattan, selling rugs on the weekends, it's not that easy.
I can only imagine.
So we were like tricking taxis to take us to these markets I would have him stand on the corner with the bags of the rugs, and I would get the cab, and the guy would pull over, and I would just like open the trunk, and I'd tell him to come, and then we just like load the bags until we could get to the markets. So we were going back and forth to our place in Ecuador, which we were simultaneously building a life there, which started out as an idea for a restaurant and a hotel, Airbnb, and the universe just kept trying to take me away, it seemed like, from hospitality, which is my background. And I was just starting to follow the signs of what was happening around me. So Palo Santo was something that we were bringing in our suitcase back and forth, actually helped pay for our travel. And we just loved it so much that I was selling it at the restaurant where I was working, and we were incorporating it into our weekend markets with our magic carpet business, magic with a K. So that was how we started really working with the candles and developing scents. We were making these beautiful exotic candles with different essential oils like oud and sandalwood and very kind of like Moroccan type style scents. But when we started experimenting with the Palo Santo essential oil, we realized that there really wasn't any Palo Santo candles on the market that actually smelled like Palo Santo. We had found a couple that were using the name, but it was more for like a trendy kind of like gimmicky title. And we started making them. And we spent a couple of years formulating the scents through a series of, universal events. We were staying with my mom for a while. I had broken my foot. I couldn't go up and down the steps of our new apartment in New York. It was a four floor walk up under the two dogs, and it was winter. And ended up launching our brand, learning how to put the products on e-commerce, and kind of slowly started developing from there. We started with one candle, and we are still home to the one and only pure Palo Santo candle that supports reforestation while stimulating economies at their source in Ecuador.
Oh,
So what we did was we recreated the scent of the essential oil of burning the wood, but now with like the flicker of the flame, bringing the vibe, bringing that shamanic ritual practice, but into our everyday lives, combining, ancient wisdom and tradition with modern day rituals and making it fun, making it easy, making it accessible, making it affordable. And when we first started, it was really just to buy a candle, plant a tree. We really weren't molding or how do I say it? Really weren't mixing it with self care other than in our personal lives.
mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until fast forward 2019 when actually we relocated to Austin, Texas, where I started using it at the yoga studios where I was teaching at, and just creating a following of people that were interested in using Palo Santo, first primarily with yoga and with meditation. And it became very, very popular, it seemed like in a pretty short amount of time. And from there, we developed a line of products that went beyond just the candle. Obviously, the smudge sticks, and now luxury fragrance and rollers and perfume oils, but really with the intention to plant just as many seeds of inspiration in the hearts of our community and building community as we do Palo Santo. So it's been a really wonderful opportunity to bring all of the worlds together, our love for handcrafted quality items, that touch of luxury and elegance, the beautiful scents with the yoga, meditation, breathwork, self-care. And now we like to say that we biohack with scent through our very intentional and unique workshop that we created, Palo Santo Sacred Journey.
I love all of that. And I have so many questions. But you said something about how the universe was pointing you in a certain
Mm.
direction. And
Mm-hmm.
you just weren't seeing it quite then. And I love that so much because I'm always saying the universe is speaking. Are you listening? Like, are you listening? So,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, I just want to comment about that. But first question, I know there's a lot of power in Palo Santo. And I almost call it magic. But can you describe like what it does for a person when the scent, all of it? I mean,
Absolutely. Our sense of smell or our olfactory sense is most connected to our memory. So, aromatherapy in general is a wonderful practice that we can incorporate into our life to trigger emotional responses. So, there are specific oils you might have heard, like we'll use a citrus oil to elevate our mood and to kind of energize, or maybe it's a lavender to relax and to drop into states of, relaxation or calmness or tranquility if we're trying to go to bed. And we can use these wonderful tools in general, all different types of scent. The reason why Palo Santo is so special, and I'll translate the word itself, palo means stick and santo means holy, is
mm,
that it's the only aromatic plant that has to die first in order to gain its healing properties and aromatics. It has deep symbolism for new beginnings. So not just in like a religious or spiritual context,
mhm.
but the way that we like to translate it for us in our everyday lives is that each and every day we have an opportunity to start fresh. We have an opportunity to grow. So the specific scent of Palo Santo, if you haven't smelled it before, is very minty. It has a little bit of citrus to it. It's pretty sharp. It's crisp. It's clean. It's resinous. It's strong, but it's at the same time very neutral, and just leaves a feeling through its scent of purity and cleanliness very
Mhm.
clean, woodsy, earthy, but not like a moss or like a sagey type earth, more of like a crisp, clean, like Pachamama, like strength, right?
Mhm.
So I love the scent. Most people are drawn to the scent when we do events and I burn a candle or I'm burning some Palo Santo, like at a market or a pop up or something. Most people just like circle the place and then they're drawn to me. They say, "We found you. It's you." And that's the power of scent, right? So we're really connected to different scents and it is very personal. It's like taste, so it can absolutely connect us to past times, good and bad. But Palo Santo in general, the energy around the plant is very protective, right? So different than maybe some other clearing agents that you might use, like sage, or, I'm here local in Texas now, there's tons of juniper, there's
Mhm.
cedar, there's so many indigenous plants right here in the United States as well that people use for cleansing and for clearing. And the smoke being the messenger and creating this ritual. And, you might see people like, or maybe you've done it yourself, saging the whole house and then opening up the windows and like out goes the bad vibes and the bad juju and all these things, whatever you want to call it. But with Palo Santo, it's a bit different where it acts as an inviter. It allows us to call in. And since it's so connected to our creativity channels, it allows us to create an authentic self expression that maybe we didn't have before. And the foundation of being creative and being, authentic is being at peace,
Mhm.
right? We're not going to think about creativity and how we can amplify our lives if we're stressed out. It's just not going to happen. So the scent itself, we love to say that it connects us to our true nature, which is joy and happiness. It's all of the heaviness of the world that gets put on us that kind of masks that down. So when we smell the Palo Santo and we create the ritual with either the smoke or the essential oil or the candle or our spray or however it is that you resonate with it, and we say a little mantra and we repeat it to ourselves and we start to associate that feeling, that emotion with the scent. So
Mhm.
that's what we like to call biohacking with scent, because when we activate with the Palo Santo and we really create a connection and we stamp it into our brain, into our muscle memory with feelings of positivity and openness and peace, then we can use it in moments of overwhelm or grief or sadness or stress, or when we're in the car, or when people are not treating us correctly, or we're not being seen for who we truly are, or, even when we're experiencing our own self-doubts, which can sometimes be our worst enemy. So this can kind of snap us back out of it. And there's nothing like the power of scent to immediately and instantly shift your energy. And when you pair it with Palo Santo, which is really quite unique and beautiful and um, just connects us to, ancient times as well, it can be really transformational.
I love every bit of that. So I personally use it just like you said, to connect it to positivity. It's something I always
Mm,
use whenever I'm really focused on manifesting something. It's always burning during that time. I was smiling because I thought about the saging thing, and I absolutely, when I go in, I'm in real estate too, outside of the other things I do. And when I go into a home that's just got bad energy, I'm like, get the sage, get the Palo Santo, get the sage, get it out, and then bring the good in quick. And I love that you touched on all of that, but mostly the memory thing. It makes me really
mm,
curious. Have you
mm.
experienced going back into a different time in your life or even a past life or just from the smell of Palo Santo?
You know, I haven't connected to past lives through Palo Santo, although many of my students have,
Okay.
especially if it's the first time for them or if they've been away from home for a long time,
Mhm.
or maybe it reminds them of when they were a kid living in a certain place where it was being burned. For me, it smells like home because I just literally emanate also the aroma everywhere I go. I'm officially the Palo Santo lady. So
Yeah.
like supermarkets, and you name it, anywhere I go, it's like, oh, you smell like Palo Santo, or oh my God, it's Mimi, the Palo Santo lady. And it's just like this vibration through the scent. So for me, it never gets old. It's one of those things that after years and years and years, it connects me to my dreams. right? Palo Santo for me represents total transformation. It represents a new opportunity that I was gifted first by the earth and then by my community who supported me to do it. And I became a guardian of the Palo Santo. And now it's my greatest wish to invite in all people to do that with me. So that way we can feel really connected to it because it truly is a botanical treasure. It hasn't even been being distilled and exported to the United States for that many years, so and it is a wonderful energy for protection and for creation, not just for cleansing and clearing, which I think makes it different.
Yeah. Oh, so beautiful. So, do you use it when you do breath work when you're teaching that?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, as a facilitator and when I lead events, I always, sometimes it's venues, different yoga studios and different meditation centers and wellness centers. There's a lot of people coming in and out. And we all come in with different energies. Some people come in very stressed, very heavy. Some people come in very light, but also very like high, like type A, right? So there's all different types of energies. We're all just big balls of energy moving around, doing the best that we can, bumping in and out of each other, right? So I like to create sacred space with it, sometimes before even people arrive. So that way, when people come in, they're already greeted with that very familiar aroma, which instantly will drop them back into peace before we even get started. Sometimes we use it at the door if it's more of an event that, we'll get a little bit deeper or we'll be doing some more sharing or some more really specific work on something. Then we'll do just like a cleansing at the door where we make sure that we're all coming into the space with like an equal foundation of not bringing anything too heavy in. And what we've been doing lately is we're also making sure that we release any like what I like to call like superficial armor that we wear during our day to protect ourselves from just the world, right? We have to like put on our clothes. We also have to like put on a little thin layer of armor so that way we don't get bothered by, people's comments or, people on the road or whatever it is. So once we release that, that's when we really connect to the scent. And how I love to use it in our events and breathwork meditation is through the essential oil by simply placing a couple of drops of it in the palm of your hand and just rubbing it together
Mm.
and inhaling it right there. It becomes a very personal connection and a really wonderful opportunity to not only connect to the aroma, but really open up our respiratory tract and just really kind of just feel open and clean and clear. So using it very intentionally in groups, like a group immersion or a group activation is really powerful. But at the very least, we just at least, cleanse the space and create that sacred container so people can feel different as soon as they enter, and then obviously, hopefully, when they leave.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, scent does connect you in so many different ways. But you also mentioned sacred spaces and that you'd like to create a sacred space. So I'm going to
Mm.
transition to that for just a minute. First, I would love to know how you connected with the head author, Colleen Avis.
Okay, well, this is our dusty candle story, which we're going to tell together one day, hopefully in some sort of event that we'll do together. But the dusty candle story, basically in a nutshell, is Colleen found my candle on the bottom shelf of a crystal shop in upstate New York. And she dusted it off and opened it up and realized that she had stumbled upon not just your average candle, probably reading me a card about how it was made and where it came from and the meditation that was included, the intention behind the packaging and the sustainability of it, and the continued connection to your participation in the brand and supporting our reforestation efforts and just in general of just being in a like-minded community of individuals looking to uplevel their life and amplify their own well-being through the power of scent and just subtle shifts. And so we were connected for a couple of years, actually. And I was doing a yoga festival in Atlanta, one of my favorite events that I do yearly. And I was driving. I had, I think it's like a 14-hour car ride on the way back. And I had scheduled, I'm a manifesting generator 3-5. So I had scheduled like back-to-back calls. because I was
Hmm.
like, my trip is going to go so quick. I'm going to get so much stuff done.
Yes.
And Colleen was one of those calls, and we connected, and she told me about the project, and I couldn't say yes fast enough as somebody who has been wanting to start exploring telling my story about how I transitioned from, a hospitality career in New York City to now doing these wellness events all over the country and around the world, and what that transition was like and how scent was a part of that. And so she called me at right the right time, and it all worked out. And I was so grateful for the opportunity to begin telling the story. And as I was telling the story, I probably wrote my own whole book. Started out and realized, and that's one of the things I'm so grateful for, is that as I started, getting the creative juices flowing, I realized that there is so much to tell, that sometimes we think, oh, well, my story is not that interesting, or so many people have done this. So many people have created brands or businesses and, have stories. But when I started really looking at it and all spelled out, I was like, wow, okay, I can see how this could be a thing.
Hmm.
Right. So I was feeling very inspired and motivated by that. And just meeting everybody that's involved has been real fun.
Colleen has that way of bringing people together.
Oh, yeah.
And I have to laugh a little bit because I met her in upstate New York. And actually, I know what crystal store you're talking about because the two of us
Yes.
did go there together.
Okay, good.
Not
That's a
when
fun
she found
place.
your calendar, but
Okay.
or
Okay.
candle. Yeah. But yeah, she's she can just see something. I don't know how to explain it, but she can just maybe read your energy or feel that you have something more, and she can open that creativity in you. I mean, I was in part of a different book when I met her. And I was so scared, like so scared of doing this whole project or that whole project, not feeling worthy enough, not feeling like, who the heck am I? Who wants to hear my stories? And she just, she took, she read my story and looked at me and goes, oh my God, no, this is exactly what somebody else needs. Cause you have that whole imposter syndrome thing, right? Going into this as a writer, you don't know that you have your own individual way of showing something and somebody out there needs it. So I love that she brought that out of you. I love that you shared your story, which is beautiful. I can't wait for other people to read it, and I don't want to give it away at all today. So make sure you're planning for February to go get
Yes.
Sacred Spaces 3, which is going to be amazing.
We're going to reveal the book cover soon.
We we are,
hmm
and it's beautiful.
Yeah,
I think you have the first and the second one sitting with you,
I
don't you?
do. I
Yeah,
do.
yeah. I mean, uh, if you haven't read the first or the second, please go do that. Please do, because they're just fantastic books. And they will inspire you and motivate you and maybe teach you something, a tool you need in your own life for your own sacred space.
I was doing my Vanna White for us.
I love it. Thank you.
I hope that Colleen is proud of me when she sees this.
She will be.
That's for you. Well, she's so intuitive and she's so fun. And honestly, we leave each other epic voice messages. And it's so
Mhm.
fun to have creative friends that want to take over the world. We were laughing because we were talking about the book, and then all of a sudden we're planning, it's like 2027 and we're planning this. So I was like, we gotta reel this back in.
You know what? That's what happens when you're a creative and a dreamer.
Yeah,
The things you can see it and you want all these things to happen and you just, yeah, I love that too.
absolutely. It's fun.
So without giving away your chapter, is there anything in
Mm.
there that you might want to tease a little bit about?
Well, I would definitely like to tease that, self-care and getting started in a meditation practice can be easier than we think. And I think that meditation is something that it's kind of like how the exercise industry, right? When exercise was getting so popular, it's not like we don't say anymore, oh, I'm going to go exercise. It's like, I'm going to go to play basketball, or I'm going to go run, or I'm going to go to cycling. And there's so many different ways to get the exercise in.
Mhm.
All right. So, what my story is, and what I hope that it will bring people, is that this is just another way to get your self care in, to get your meditation in, which is really about tending to your energetic ecosystem. It's your spiritual hygiene, right? We clean, we organize, we do everything. And sometimes it's that last little layer that might be a little funky. And it's also one of those things that it doesn't have to be woo woo unless you want it to be. It's, Palo Santo, the ingredient, the main terpene that gives it its scent and its aromatics and its healing properties is D-limonene. I mean, it's backed by science to help us in respiratory health, anti-inflammatory, antibacterial. It's actually a cleaner, it's a purifier. So if you're more scientific minded, you could be like, wow, this is a really powerful sacred botanical tool that I can use to uplevel my life.
Mm.
Or if you want to be really connected to the spirituality of it, that's awesome. And maybe, just maybe, it will take you down that path without even knowing that it's happening,
Mm.
like it happened to me. So that's that's my wish of the story. And I just want everybody to know that it's never too late. It's never too late to do something new. And I hope that I inspire people to live their dreams and to try something different, even though the conditioning of society is really hard sometimes, and to let go of the what ifs, what coulda, what shoulda, and just be yourself. My
Mm.
mom used to tell me that when I used to go do things and be nervous, you just be you. And it was like the best advice anybody's ever given me. I'd be like, okay, there's nobody else I can be except for me.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, when I smell the scent, I'm going to be thinking totally different thoughts because you've planted them in my
Mm,
head now, which I love. But I hope that also somebody else will read your chapter
hmm.
and, yeah, like you just said, realize some things about themselves, take a new look at life, a new look at the way they see things, a new look at what they're doing in their day. Yeah. So I think it's
Yeah,
beautiful. And you're right. Meditation doesn't need to be weird and woo woo. I have told my kids forever, nobody says you have to close your eyes and put your hands up and sit lotus
right,
and all these things. You can sit in your chair, you could sit on the floor, you could be laying in bed. It doesn't matter.
right.
Just still your mind for a little bit. So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful. All right. Well, if there was one thing that you could share with this audience that we haven't talked about yet today, what would it be?
If I could share one thing with this audience that we haven't talked about yet, is that the power that our own electricity, our own energy is really all that we need. And I know that's really a hard thing for us to swallow
Mm.
because I myself suffer from limiting beliefs. And it's one of the things that I'm actively working on daily to try to get better at, to not let myself be limited. And sometimes we're limited when we think we don't have enough money, we don't have enough resources, we don't have enough family, we don't have support, we don't have this, we don't have that, we don't have this. And it just keeps going on and on and on. And what I've learned is that if we can turn the worry, which is essentially meditating. So if you're a worrier and you've never meditated, you're actually a big meditator because you're meditating on things that you don't want.
Okay, I've never heard that, but that is outstanding. Okay, keep going.
Right. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to redo our inner worlds, and we need to repeat the positive messaging within us. And this is a daily practice. This is something that we have to do all the time. And I hate to say it, and I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but sometimes it doesn't get easier. As projects get bigger, life gets more, there's more opportunities. The speaking engagements get bigger. There's more people in the audience. Sometimes the limiting beliefs that you thought were gone or the toxic traits that you thought were gone, they come creeping back in because it's a really good opportunity for them to find a seat again, rent free in your brain. Because you'd be like, oh, something new is happening. We get to be back. We get to be limited again because this couldn't absolutely be possible for myself. Well, what I've learned is that when we tap in to our own source energy and we find a guide or a group or a friend or a scent or a tool or a song that helps us, just keep repeating it. Just repeat it over and over and over again because we begin to train our brains to be that. And that's what I want to share with everybody, that it's something that even the people that you think, have it all or look like they have it all, I can guarantee you that they have to remind themselves on a daily basis of who they truly are and what they truly want. And creating a ritual for yourself is really important. And it can be under 5 minutes.
Mm.
So there's no excuses because it can be under 5 minutes. And somebody recently just told me, because, we have this thing, what I'm trying not to do anymore is say that I don't have time because I'm actually telling myself that I don't have time by keep saying that, like, I don't have time. And so I said, well, I don't have time to do that. And somebody said, if you don't have 10 minutes, then you need to really reevaluate your existence on this planet.
Yeah.
Because there is time. There is time. There's plenty of time. There's resources and there's energy and it lives within us.
Yeah.
So do whatever it is that you need to do to bring that out. And it can be activated by different things. We're all not going to fit in the same molds. But one thing that I do think that can connect us all is this collectiveness. And of course, Palo Santo.
So you just nailed it as to why you are the perfect person to be the first person of this little series that I'm doing, because I believe with all my heart that anyone can manifest anything that they dream of. They just need to know how. And that's what I do here in this community, is teach that. And you just summed up one of the things that I think is so important and not letting yourself be in this lack of abundance, and you said it beautifully, but in a new way. So I thank you for that so much. And I thank you for being here. And I just want to remind everyone that all of Mimi's information will be in the notes. And she is also offering a little gift. Tell me about the Sacred Spaces.
Yeah, so if you go to the website and you see anything that you like, just enter code Sacred Spaces at checkout and we'll make sure that you get a free custom gift included in your order. And we also have an online community. So all the links are going to be in the notes of this podcast, where we do a monthly breath bubble event where we breathe in a rhythm to awesome beats to supercharge our energy and find inner peace, and no experience necessary. We always end with a smile. And what I found is sometimes if you're experimenting with breathing techniques or meditation, kind of taking the leap from home can be fun because you can have your camera off or you can just release any inhibitions. You don't need to be self-conscious in any way. And so please join us if you can. And that's what makes us different, is that we really strive to create community around our products, not just have a product that you take home and you never hear from us again, but that that supports and nurtures your entire life.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Mimi, for being here. And please, everyone, check her out. Check out all of her stuff because it's amazing. And I hope that you all take the time to get Sacred Spaces 3 when it comes out as well and read her chapter, because it is one you don't want to miss. Thank you for being here. Well, I really, really hope that you guys enjoyed today's conversation with Mimi. She's an outstanding lady, and I'm so excited about all that she brings to this world and what she could bring to your life. So I encourage you to reach out. And above all else, remember that I believe in you and you can manifest the life of your dreams.